as long as I'm happy and I enjoy what I'm doing, like I'm good. But the moment it gets bad, I'll say something because I'm also going to fight to change anything that I feel like should be changed, or like I'm not just going to tap out and just leave something without trying every possible way to fix it.
Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
All right, so welcome to another episode of Your Peak Life podcast. We have a special guest today.
Very
the
special.
Backbone of Iron Valley Real Estate. Someone who's the glue behind keeping all of us and our personalities and our characters in line, right? She deals with a lot of different people, and she just knows how to communicate individually with all of us. I am very proud to call her a friend and also a mentor, to be honest with you, Laurie Serrano. So talk to us a little bit about about yourself. You know, how is it working with us?
It is.
Tell us about yourself, but how is it working?
Yeah, tell us about yourself.
Which one?
And how is it working with us after you introduce yourself?
I don't know about me. I've got two boys that are grown, basically, 18 and 20.
How
Where you
did the
from?
journey begin? How are you sitting here right now running?
Well, what'd you do before real estate?
So I primarily growing up did retail management. Every job I had, I always started like entry level and then worked my way all the way up to like management. And then I left retail and I worked for an insurance company as a litigation examiner. And then that was way too stressful.
Wow.
So I ended up quitting there and I didn't work for 2 years. And a girl I had worked with there was working at a local real estate company as an admin. And I hit her up and I was like, hey, how do you like doing that? I've always loved like real estate stuff and everything. And she loved it. So she connected me with an agent that was leaving her firm, going to a new one, and who needed an assistant. So I started with her doing everything, TC, listing input, lock boxes, signs, like doing everything for her. And then I needed more. That was very part-time, so that I needed more steady income. Now I was getting back into working. So I started working at another firm as an office admin. And then the pandemic hit and I got furloughed. And then about 3 months after that, I was like getting cabin fever. And Eric posted on Facebook that they were looking
Good
for a new
old
admin.
Facebook.
So I sent him a message on Facebook.
Shout out to Mark.
So I sent him a message and then set up the interview. And now I'm here.
The crazy part, I wasn't even at that interview.
No?
No.
Yeah, I remember
so-
you texted too after apologizing for not being there.
Yeah.
So, Eric, how was the interview? How was the initial interaction?
It was strange first because like we never owned a company, so I'd never interviewed someone for a job.
Brand new
So-
thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this is like the very
Okay.
like me and
I
Eric.
hold on.
Like Eric and I just came out of the Newtown Road office, putting names in.
That's
a
where the
system.
interview
in
was.
Newtown Road.
Yeah.
But hold on, I got a question. What were the questions?
There wasn't many questions.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's like you've been in real estate.
It was like,
Or-
oh, so you worked at a real estate company. It was like, could you do input? Do you know the systems? And obviously, she was very experienced with the systems. From there, it kind of just grew organically
Yeah.
because we didn't know what we were doing.
Y'all text me and was like, "We like her." I was like, "Cool." Just send it. Like
So
we
it
need
was- I think
somebody.
we were there maybe 20 minutes that
Yeah.
day, and it was just like, did we get her?
And then you guys brought me here when this was like from the interview to come look at the new office.
Yeah.
But I have a very like, I knew I was going to get it before I even went there mentality. Like,
Well, if you would have
so
seen,
I put that
That's
out
why we
there
get
like before I
along, you
got there.
know?
I was like, it's already
so,
in there.
and no offense to you, Laurie, if you would have seen the interviews before then,
I remember.
Yeah, you killed it. I do remember that. We had several interviews before Laurie, and they were so bad.
right? I think one girl was there.
I was-
high, like
Nah, dude, it was
not-
crazy.
not like weed,
I was in
like-
college at the
Oh,
time.
meth
I remember
high.
why I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
there. I was in school. You guys had the interview. I hadn't quit college all the way yet. Like that was like a defining moment for me, stopping school because of the transition from the Navy and just doing this full time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't here. It was him and our previous partner. I text her, said, I'm sorry I'm not there. I look forward to working with you. And here we are 4 years later.
Right.
So from obviously they're starting up the brokerage. What was the difference? You coming from, I guess, really the job you were doing before really wasn't as intense as it is now, right?
Right. Yeah. No, there was a lot. When I remember too in the interview, they asked if I knew QuickBooks, and I was like, no, but I can learn it. Like, I can
Killed
YouTube
it.
Google it. Like, pretty smart. I can learn it. But so when I first started, it was like I think like 2 things that they had for me to do. But because I knew like all the other stuff that needed to be done, like I would just start looking at that and doing that stuff too.
Yeah.
And then just kind of finding
Now,
stuff.
when you went home from that interview and when you first started working with us, you knew we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Yes.
I want to make sure that was clear. Like,
Yeah.
we were lost in the sauce. Like, we were just throwing money, opening shit. Like, well, hopefully it works, guys. You know,
Get up and come to work every day.
So how is it now? The perspective of you're taking this job off of a Facebook post to where we're at now and where you see us going. How is from your perspective?
I want to add to that though, like because I feel like if you knew one thing, you knew we were selling houses. We were doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that does look like for you. Like we sell a lot of houses, but you're meeting with these 3 guys that just opened a company. Like is this gonna work?
Well, and on that too, I had talked to a previous manager at my old brokerage before coming to the interview. I was like, hey, what do you know about these guys? What do you know about, this? And he was like, well, opening a new firm, there's going to be a ton of speed bumps. Like there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to come up that you guys are going to do wrong, have to fix and keep going. So I knew that going into it too. So that was good advice. But I don't know. I'm not surprised to see where everything is now. I think the motivation that you guys have, it just
How many
makes
doubts
sense.
in this trip did you have at any moment?
There was
I
a few
can
times.
I can recall one specifically.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that day.
Yeah.
You were gonna leave the company that day.
Yeah.
I was here.
I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't see it going in a good direction.
Yeah, and I looked her dead in her face and I said, "We will never fail."
Yeah.
I explicitly remember saying that. You got me all the way fucked up.
Yeah.
Like we didn't open this shit to close it. That's
Yeah.
not happening. And here we are now. So
Yeah.
No, but for me, it's dope to have you because aside from these guys,
the original man.
How can I put this? They're not going to teach me everything, right? They're still managing things.
Absolutely.
Whereas you teach me things where it's like, hey, you see this verbiage here? Did you
Well,
know
and
about that? No.
Yeah. So that too, I go from my previous litigation.
Litigation review.
I took contract law. I'm very if it's within the 4 corners, I know how to read contracts and interpret them and everything like that. So some stuff drives me crazy when I see it because I'm.
Oh, and I love it because Laurie puts me down in a nice way. Like, you idiot, you missed this.
Edgar,
in a nice way.
Edgar, I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah. And I'm sure she turns around like,
No, I don't.
that's all the time.
She doesn't do it in your face.
Yeah. No, but I love it that we have someone like you because I feel extra confident in everything we're doing because I have you in the background. The confidence I have moving forward in everything we're doing, knowing that we have a Laurie Serrano in the background, working, managing everything, from the employees to the events to engaging with our agents, which you don't have to do, right? I think that's badass.
I'm a big and I've always been like that too. Even when I was on my high school dance team, we were talking about, I was got most
We need to touch
spirited.
on that.
I got the most spirited award. So I'm all in, not like that, but
Not like
I get very
That's what I think of.
I go to Will Ferrell with the little.
very into so Iron Valley, and then I know part of that is like you said, supporting, engaging agents, not just in real estate, but when they're doing stuff outside too,
Yes.
just being there as
I think
a support system.
you understand how culture and
Yeah.
community work, right?
Yeah.
So for you to grow in your position and to move from an admin to a lead admin to a director of operations to managing multiple stores, that if I communicate with these agents and make them feel like they belong, which is the ultimate goal, we want to remain a family. It's just a bigger one, right? But you understanding that and actively doing it. Plus, I also feel like you have friends that work here too.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole group of, there's groups of groups all in the company that like are 15, 20, 30 year friendships, which is kind of crazy because we're just a few guys from the Navy that transplanted. So I don't know. That's
I got to touch on that. A few guys, right? Like that's the biggest negative.
but Laurie really runs the whole firm. I tell
Right.
everybody
Well, that's,
that.
I always refer
We always
to
get that
as
like
the
it's a
guys.
guy a
Yeah.
guy thing over there or whatever. Like what would you say to that?
To me for that.
Because you're in it, right?
Yeah.
So like when we're interviewing agents, it's like or female agents, we'll get that. It's like somewhere out there in the atmosphere is like it's a boys club over there.
Yeah, it's
We're
just a
like-
narrative from other people trying to keep their
Yeah, I
agents
don't
like-
from
think,
coming
I've
here.
never
I
seen
mean,
it like that.
well,
Yeah.
we've had people like comment on Facebook posts and
But
stuff like that.
But you're in it, and it's like you see all the women together here, and like we're always with everybody.
Yeah.
But then going back to your cheer, not too long ago, we were talking about this before this started, was your post, which you look great
Oh, high
now,
school.
and then
Like,
it's like you haven't changed, man. You're like,
Not
know it-
according to Beth.
no,
yeah.
it's
well,
the,
that's my sister.
it's the spirit level. That's
It's
what
the-
it is.
Oh, yeah.
Is her
It's the spirit
energy.
level,
Is
yeah.
her energy. Is her energy. Like I could say, even from my perspective in my family, like I know if we have something, a family gathering, Laurie is a part of our guest list.
Yeah.
So to become, I wasn't here from the beginning, but even when I was a team lead, right, we had a relationship, I believe, and then I think now it's grown stronger. So I appreciate you 100%, and it's it's easier to kind of reach out to you sometimes because you're gonna know the answer from every four of us perspective.
Yeah.
So hey, this is going on. I gotta talk to Mike. What's the best way to approach it? You know the answer.
That's I'd like to think too that I have like I obviously everybody knows everybody, but like I know the different personality types and like what to go to for what or how to go to or how not to, like. But I think that's also beneficial for the agents too, having that option that and I always tell them that too. I'm like, if you're not getting the reply or feedback or energy from one of them, there's everybody.
Pivot.
Somebody here is going to match your energy.
Yeah.
Like,
Now, to be clear, that doesn't mean if you're wrong,
yeah, no,
mom and pop everybody.
no.
No, just since we're recording, we might as well put that out there.
Put a
It doesn't
disclaimer.
mean call us until you hear what you
Yeah,
want.
no.
Get the guidance, right? But that's because that happens all the time too. They'll just round robin us till they get what they want, and it's.
I mean, that happens with me too. I'll tell
Yeah.
them something and they don't like it.
Oh, I
they'll
couldn't
go ask
imagine.
one of
You
guys,
probably-
and
you-
I'm just like, okay.
I bet you and Beth get more calls than we do.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
How is that? Let me ask you that. How is seeing your sister go from part-time to now who I call
All
her
alone.
Super Beth, right? Because her role has just changed tremendously.
Yeah.
And her performance level is just at another level. You as a sister, how does that feel? And how
I
is
love
that
it.
seeing that?
I love it because she's never had like an office job. So there was a lot of like not boss Lori, but sister Lori kind of talk to her. Like it's not, I don't know how to explain that. But seeing her in an office environment and watching her grow, like she's wicked smart, obviously, and she's very detail oriented. So helping her like focus on what she needs to and teaching her more and more stuff that she, like you said, like just from what she could do now compared to a year ago. It's like huge difference. Like
It's like two
to,
employees.
yeah, like where the other admin, everybody's basically going to Beth first. And then if Beth can't figure it out, then she'll come ask me. But
Why? She's been dubbed lead admin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's why you went to director of ops, because you're not an admin anymore.
She
Even
said
though,
you were
like,
the bully growing up.
You
by
do
the
do a
way.
lot of admin stuff, but
She was.
everything.
We used to, when we had, like, she was such, she really was. Like, there was this one girl in our neighborhood that was not nice. And it would just be like, I'd get my sister Beth on her. I've never been a
Beth was
bully
the
or mean.
bodyguard.
Yeah.
I could totally.
She
see
Beth be
is.
knocking people out?
I don't think she ever, well, she might have gotten into a fight or two.
that. she
I don't
she
know,
didn't
but
have
I
to.
ain't
she was
messing
the
with
very,
Beth.
She
Yeah.
came around the corner and they were out. She's like, we don't want them problems.
Yeah, but we didn't hang out growing up as much. We're 4 years apart. I'm the youngest of 4, so I have a brother who's 2 years older. My brother and I were close. We were in the same friend group in high school. When I was like 15, 16, Beth, I guess was 19, 20. So we used to hang out at her house to do extracurricular
party house.
activity.
Okay.
But that's when we started hanging out more whenever I was older. But like growing up, we weren't really like here's also too. We shared a room together growing up because we were 4 kids. We had a small house, and my parents always said it was because we had the same attitude problem. But it was really because it was either we had one brother and then an older sister,
Right.
so we were the 2 left, like that we had to share a room. But we're the most similar out of my siblings.
How many fist fights?
None.
None?
Damn, so that's great.
Yeah, that's solid.
You guys are close, though. I can see
Yeah.
that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I see the music now. When I come in, it's like you don't know what's gonna be playing when you walk in.
do
And same
not.
thing with Beth.
Bro.
You do not.
Yeah, that you have in common.
Yeah.
I walked to the desk the other day and it was like, Till It's Gone, Leonard Skinner, right? And then I go back and it was Moneybag Yo, ocean Spray. I was like, good morning.
Well, that's how you figure out what mood they're in.
Yeah.
How you're going to
Yeah.
approach them, like death metal.
Yeah.
Well, you get that eye
Yeah.
too. It's
Give her a
like when you
moment.
approach the desk and it's like,
Yeah. Some Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. Yeah, she's feeling it today.
Yeah.
So we ask our guests to come on here and we talk about our peak life or what's your peak life. So what is your peak life? What do you see yourself and where do you see yourself in 5 years? 5 years from now, what is Laurie doing? And
This
what
is
is
a
your
test.
kids are grown.
Well, I'll be out. No.
You guys don't know how often I ask Laurie if she's leaving.
yeah.
It's a quarterly
No,
check-in.
I've never been good with the timeline goals because I'm awful with goals, period, until very, very, very recently. Like, I literally had a goal to make a goal because I, to the extreme, live in the moment kind of person. So I would not, in my head, the reason why I wouldn't make a goal or do anything like that was I didn't want to waste my time right now sacrificing for something that might, like, I could get hit by a car and die tomorrow. But
Yeah.
like that was how extreme my mentality was, like not to like it, just live very, very, very much in the moment. So I've learned to balance that out a little bit. So I wouldn't know exactly for 5 years, but I'm just big on being in a good environment, like with people, friends, family, good energy, like being peaceful and being around people that are peaceful. Like that would be my ideal, is just to be like not happy per se, but obviously me feeling good, but being around other good energy, spirited people.
Like some
So
LCR.
anywhere,
Some LCR. That vibe.
anything, like, yeah, like it, and it could be like regardless of the job. One thing, like I was saying before, like I need to keep learning and doing new stuff. If I keep doing the same thing, like I'll get bored. Like,
You'll get
and that's
burnt out.
that would be overwhelmed. Like if I'm doing too much of the same thing. But that's always been something too, like needing to keep learning and doing new stuff.
Yeah.
So like,
How do you feel about moving from just the admin to director of operations and kind of watching all the offices take their own shape and watching everybody take their own role? Because you have the front row seat to that, right? You watch everybody go from agent to owner to team lead to broker to trainer to whatever
Yeah.
we're all doing. You're watching it.
yeah,
So what's that look like from your desk?
good. Like that was, it
Good.
was, well, no, so I remember specifically, and I think I told you all about it the one time, whenever each of the offices did their own like top agent thing.
Yeah.
That was like huge for me. Like literally, I was almost like in tears, so happy with that, because it's like, like look, all the offices, everybody's
working.
doing their own thing.
It's
You know,
working.
like it's hard to let go of doing a lot of the stuff yourself. I'm very much like, it's easier. I'll just do it. It's faster. I can do it quicker. So it's very rewarding seeing other people being able to do that for themselves and not having to be like checking behind every detail. Obviously, there's still checking that you need to do, but it's super cool seeing how it's growing and seeing each of the offices take shape and being handled by a person there, not me. Like,
Like Lakeisha's killing it.
yeah.
Keone's
yeah.
gonna be in Chesapeake.
Yep.
She's killing it. Keone's vibe. She's one of those vibe people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
can't go around Keone
And be
not,
unhappy.
Yeah, and not be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she
she's
just
super
gives
cool.
that vibe. You know, I really enjoy being around her.
I feel like that's something that's been very important for me too with the admin is making sure that they're good energy for the offices. Not like, I mean, there's been even days where like I won't even go into the office because I just knew I had like shitty energy that day. And I'm like, I'm not bringing that around.
Eric's like that too.
Yeah. Like I know that. So
Thank you.
it's because that's one of those like, there's a quote. It's like, be responsible for the energy you bring into the room. So that I think, hiring the right people to come in and do it is the same thing. Cause it's like, I don't want somebody who's going to come in there who's going to be like
Debbie Downer,
miserable
yeah.
and complaining about everything. And like, it's just having good people with good energy is huge.
That is something that I'm definitely working on, because I'm one of those people. Like, if you're around me for 1 second, you guys know, like Edwin's in a shitty mood, or if I'm happy, you just know.
I tell immediately.
Yeah, so I'm working on that.
Yeah.
But there's rarely a time I've ever can remember you being shitty or pissed. So that's pretty cool.
I've dealt with pissed Laurie.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I
I don't
mean,
want
yeah.
to. I don't want to.
Not even pissed. Maybe just like concerned.
Yeah.
There was a point, a low in our company where she had every right to be concerned. And we had to do what we all have done to correct the path. And I'm just glad you stayed.
Yeah.
Which is a shameless plug for your 5-year plan. We're going to be open still, so if you want to stick around, we'd really appreciate it.
There's no termination clause.
This is
Well, we
Virginia,
want you to
buddy.
be happy as well. I think it's important for, at least I would hope you feel that you could communicate with all
Yeah.
of us.
No, for sure.
You know,
And are you still enjoying what you're doing? I think that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Your kids, how old are they?
18 and 20.
Is Logan still going to do real estate?
I keep
Ask
telling him
their
to.
mom.
Did-
Like, I
didn't
don't
we have
know.
one-on-one?
Yeah, I keep telling. He would be so amazing at it too. He's got such an entrepreneur mind. Like he's all into like trading and stuff. Like he used
what's
to
he-
rent finance books from the library.
Weirdo.
This kid's got
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it's cool. He didn't get it all from me, but like, yeah, it's not.
Way to sell yourself short, Mom.
That's not
No, but it's
nice
funny because like
for a
we've
boy.
had these conversations where it's you've grown along with us too. Like we're not going to talk about politics, but political view,
Yeah.
life advice, everything has changed and morphed into where you are now.
Yeah.
Which at the beginning I'm very this person, you were very this person, so we had a lot of interesting conversations.
Yeah.
But it was nice because it was never an argument.
Yeah.
Like it was very, I listen to your side, you listen to my side. We could agree to not agree and move on with our lives.
And also too, like I'm very open-minded on that. So like, if I had a belief for a while and I learned something new, I will change it and be like,
Right.
okay, yeah, that is a better way to see it, or like that
Right.
was not the way I believed or thought was completely wrong. Like I have no problem admitting like. If
So you're
I'm
saying
wrong
that
with
people
stuff.
can change?
I think the hard
crazy.
part is people
Crazy
don't want to
concept.
admit that they're wrong, so they'll dig their heels in the sand
Yeah.
just to not have to say that.
Right.
So
But I
stubborn.
think being the youngest of four, like I used to always take the blame for everything because I was the baby and I wouldn't get in trouble. So even to this day, I'll be like, "Yep, you're right. I'm wrong." Like it's not going to bother me if I know I'm right. Like I don't
Right.
care. But I also, if I am wrong, I will be like,
Own it.
100%. That was me. My bad. Like
Yeah.
fix it.
So let me ask you guys a question, Mike and Eric. How is it, in your perspective, seeing Laurie grow, right, and grow into a position to where even before I was in ownership, like I knew.
I'm gonna be real honest with you, bro. I probably grew more. I came back here, and everything that we fixed, she knew more than me at that time. Like we run the business and we recruit agents and train the agents or whatever. But when it came to the back end of the company, from the point where I kind of left that role, which is when she was hired, right, to when I came back over here, when Eric said, "Hey, we got to get to work," it was like a lot of things that nobody knew. And we went through that every day for like 6 weeks. And in that 6 weeks, I went from, an agent and a team lead and a brand new managing broker to the principal broker of what would soon be like 200 people. I did not do that alone. So for me, my experience was, how can I keep Laurie, which we accomplished, thankfully, but also I need to learn everything that she knows because it's unsat that it was ever even in that condition. That's how I felt, and at that time it was like on the two of us to right the ship, right? Because we had people like yourself and Edgar and your teams and all the other agents looking up to us to provide what we've said we're going to provide, right? So I learned just as much from Laurie as she's learned from me. That would be my viewpoint.
What about you, Eric?
I don't know, me and Laurie. I think personally, I grew more with Laurie. Like we've had a lot of conversations. I post really random, thought-evoking, edgy things on Facebook.
We call you a
That's
troll.
only been like a week.
Almost a troll.
Like,
Almost a
really,
troll.
like-
You saw how he owned it. He said, yeah, exactly.
It's trollish.
Almost a troll-
It's been
troll-esque.
going on for 4 years, but it's just been low key. It's becoming more vibrant now. So we've always had those conversations. Me and her have met after work and like sat down and went over issues she was seeing, how she was feeling. I would tell her how I felt, and we've grown as a friend. And personally have
And some of that,
broadened
I'm sure,
horizons.
would be like, well, how do we convey this message to Mike?
There was probably 30%, right? No, but it was. I feel like I've grown personally because of you, which is actually really good because being in the Navy, it was a certain way all the time. You have a corporate background. You have a very different belief about life. So it does open those horizons for everybody else around you, which is really cool for me.
The connection, too, for me, Sag Life, bro. Like, it's
That's life.
we are on the very same wavelength when it comes to getting shit done.
Pisces.
Like we're
All
very.
about the Capricorns.
If it's,
gang.
I know that I can forward those 10 emails a day because it's not going to bother Laurie. She's going to pop in her thing and she'll be like, I'll get to it as soon as I can, whatever, but she knows how my brain works too. All of you do. So it's just like that communication ability. That's dope for me because not everybody can handle that. And I know that, but she does the same thing to us. Hey guys, I know it's 8:00 on a Sunday night, but I got all of next year mapped out. What do you think? So we're, from that regard, we're literally the same human.
Yeah.
Like we're analytical, but we execute. We don't get stuck in
Yeah, like
paralysis,
people who just complain or whine about stuff, but not do anything. Like
Right.
you can't
Yeah.
just complain
we're,
that
we're
shit's not
problem
working. Like
solvers.
do
Yeah,
something.
we're like we fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the secret sauce. There is like we just
Yeah, that's
get
the
it done.
greatest thing. It's like you juggle a ton of stuff, and it's like, but you get the task done, right?
Yeah.
And all of us, there's something we got to do. Just do it. Doesn't matter who.
Yeah,
We just got to take a piece of it and go.
So you ready to put us on the spot? Do you have any questions for anybody in this room?
You gotta have something.
Yeah, something.
Come on, Laurie.
Doesn't matter what it
You
is.
deal with all of us more than anyone else on the planet. Like aside from probably our kids and our spouses,
Not a single question.
I mean,
There's got to be something.
We need the music. The
Yeah.
Adam, please.
where do y'all see me in 5 years?
On vacation with us at the peak performance. We're like, what are we talking about? Every year.
That's quite the way to put your boss on the spot, eh?
I'll answer that from my perspective.
From my perspective, I see you being in charge of several directors of operations and running our whole corporation as a whole. That's where I see you. If I could paint my picture, you be right along with us, keeping all of us in line, and as we grow, you grow with us.
I 100% agree with that. Like, I'm on the same track because
Okay.
you guys all know, like, I'm going to Cali. I have to hire you there.
Yeah.
They need trained.
Who's going to train them? I can't train them.
Right.
So who's going to do that?
Yeah.
So a national level, that's where I see it. Now, whether you want to take that position or take it, take that on. I mean,
I can see her flying
So-
to Cali
Right.
and enjoying that.
So but really just elaborate on what you guys are saying. But at the rate we're growing with the other firm opening, I see very soon offices having staffed managing brokers and us moving to true ownership and having that almost like the mothership up north, right? Like when you go there, all the owners and the director of operations are in a corporate office, right? And my idea would be that's where all of our minds meet via Zoom when you're not here, in person when you are here, whatever. But then she can go to not even just admins, like you can direct the efforts of a managing broker. You are the director of operations of the company, like not just employees. Like, well, I guess at that point, if you're staffing a managing broker, it is an employee. So I see it that way, structured much like a law firm, you know, and those brokers and admins, everybody should have an understudy or an associate, kind of like the thing that you were going to implement on the team side. Like, I see a structure like that where it's the owners, the director of operations, the managing brokers, the other employees. They answer to the managing brokers and they answer to Laurie. That's how I see. Maybe that's just the chain of command in me, but in my head, I know that that's how that's supposed to work, if that makes sense.
I mean, on a corporate level, you're going to have that same chain of command.
Right, exactly.
Level.
So
from CEO to COO to CFO.
I just see it that way as we continue to grow. And now when you look at who we're signing, we're not signing just brand new agents. We're not signing people looking to get their first deal. We're signing associate brokers, previous principal brokers, top producers. And that's the secret to growing within, right? Because now if you give those people room to grow, vice just go sell houses for me, now we have longevity, you know? So that's where I see 5 or 10 years.
That's all I
Are you up for the mission?
This
She's
is
like,
this
if you
is recorded.
motherfuckers don't know by now.
Yeah.
That's what we got to recruit our son. Be like, all this, like,
She's like, the fact that I'm
handcuff
even
this
here
guy.
on camera right now should tell you I'm a ride or die.
Edgar, what about you? Your perspective from
Similar. She's in
team-
charge of this thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
She's just Laurie, right?
So
It's
we're all
hard
in
to-
agreement that she's the boss, actually the boss.
Yeah, 10,000%. My principal broker license just actually says Mike Little hyphen Laurie Serrano. That's
Just send it to me. I'll get it done.
No, I can't emphasize anything anymore. It's just like you're on for the ride, right?
She's a rider.
Like this is the group.
I got another question. Do you think we're doing all the right things now?
That's a
versus,
good question.
you know,
Where do we?
we'll
need
call
to
it before the turn.
Yes. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've always liked about Iron Valley from like the beginning is, I know one of the slogans is do your thing, but like it's genuine, like for the agents to like be their own boss, to run their own business, to do their own stuff, like not holding hands or, you know, wiping butts and stuff like that for the agents,
Right.
like letting them do what they need to do.
Do your thing. You're just a fan
Yeah,
of
like
that.
where we are different now than like even 2 years ago. It's a lot more well-oiled machine now. Like there's more processes in place.
Structure.
Yeah, like
leadership's present.
Yeah, and there's actual like policies, and here's how you do this, here's how you do that. Like, so it's not different from person to person. They're not getting fed different things when they go to different
Correct.
people.
More unified front.
Yeah.
Good, because that was one of the goals. So, you know, like, but I mean, really, if you look at it from the perspective of day one starting with none of that stuff in place to the onboarding packages that we all use today,
Yeah.
like that was created and evolved through time and mistakes and,
Now,
you
let me
know,
ask you this.
yeah.
Same pay, different companies. Like if you could go to whatever company you worked at, which I know years ago, or something like this, would you still do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, even this was when I left the insurance industry.
Mm-hmm.
I literally I quit there and I was gone for like 2 years. Like I didn't work for 2 years, and I had a lot of life happenings. My mom was really sick. I lost grandparents. Hadn't had any like deaths in my family literally until like 5 years ago. Then
Okay.
they just started all tapping out. But so at that point in my life, I realized that I was literally.
Part of life,
The job
you
was
die.
so stressful. Like I was on crazy amounts of anxiety meds every day just to get through the job. And then coming home, it was miserable. And having the deaths happen, it was really a moment where I was just like, what am I doing? Like, because honestly, I was making more money there 6 years ago than I am now. But I made that point back then. Like, I wouldn't care what the pay was as long as all my bills were done, but I had a good life. Like, I was happy. I was at peace. I
You've said that here.
enjoyed what I would do.
You've said that here.
As long as I'm happy and I enjoy what I'm doing, like, I'm good. But the moment it gets bad, I'll say something because I'm also going to fight to change anything that I feel like should be changed, or like I'm not just going to tap out and just leave something without trying every possible way to fix it before then I'm finally like I'm out. If it becomes a part where it starts stressing me personally, like, I've realized no job is ever going to be worth that, which is also why, like, I don't mind being
You're
an
not
employee,
huge
not,
on
like, a
materials or
business
money
owner.
and stuff, though, either. Like you said, you're an in the moment type
Yeah.
of person.
I was actually talking to, we were talking about this the other day. Like, a goal for me is to value my time more. And part of that is, like, monetarily value it, because I know I have a lot of skills and a lot of stuff that I can help people with, but I won't ever take compensation for it, because in my head, I'm like, well, it's not anything big. It's not hard. It's not difficult for me. Like, I can do it anyway. So, like, that part, like, it's almost to the point where, like, one of my goals is to be okay with getting money. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know how to
absolutely.
word that, but, like, it's just a weird thing for me.
It doesn't mean that you have to put your moral value on it. It just
Right.
means that
But I'm like,
you value
again, to
your
the
time,
opposite
you know?
extreme where I'm almost anti-money because I don't want it to be thought
well,
of
in
that
that
way,
case,
but, like,
no raises in 2024.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. But I was going to say, because I've had you in the past say, well, I'd rather that individual get a raise, vice me. I would rather you give the rest of the staff a bonus, vice me, if the account doesn't, because we all run
But
this
that
business
too
together,
goes
right?
to like just if I know that we have good people in place that are helping me do all the stuff I used to do, I'd rather have good people there taking that weight off of my shoulders than having people coming in and out.
And
So
how
I
do
know
you-
you have to treat them well and pay them to keep them in place.
And
'cause that
this
makes
is
my
not a
life
shot,
easier.
but like it's like you could go to that concert in peace, right? Because
Yeah.
shit's fucking still moving.
Yeah.
And I could have my fun.
Yeah,
Like that's the whole point of getting these people in place
Yeah.
is to alleviate a lot of that
Yes.
work.
It's also to the culture too, though. Like, there's perks that come with working
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think
I explained that when my sister started
agents don't
working,
bring it
like,
up, and
yeah.
it's not really talked about. But we've built relationships in a lot of places, and there's perks of being part of this company, and that's just what it is. And I hope everybody takes advantage of it. Like,
Hell yeah.
that's what they're there for. So,
$10 a month for a gym membership?
It's 19, but
19? 10?
I'm going after here to sign up.
I
after
go
leave.
to as many free concerts as possible. I'm never gonna lie.
Well, Laurie,
Lori does the whole season every year. She's got-
You didn't
But
do
it's
much
fun to
last year,
hear.
though.
They didn't have very
Yeah,
much.
the
good
lineup
year.
last year
It's-
was
what?
weak sauce.
Well, and I just found out
There was a lot of rap.
Saved by the
There
90s
was,
is
but, like,
playing the
yeah.
same night as our awards show.
Year
There's
over
free
year.
tickets.
But
It's
like
never changed.
in previous years, like when we would be able to see
It seemed like every week
a
I was
lot
like,
less
where you
rock
going?
and roll. Now that I think about it, when you
There's a
look
lot
at
less.
Yeah, this past summer
previous
wasn't.
concert seasons to now,
Yeah,
it
because
was
2
mostly
years ago
hip
I
hop.
went to literally every show except for 2 at the
And
end. Of the
yeah,
year.
there was a bunch of good ones, but I really enjoyed Jelly Roll show. I think that was the one.
I tried listening to Jelly Roll and it was
I love
do
Jelly
it?
Roll.
I can't
Nah.
do it either, man.
maybe he's just better live because I
No,
did
he's
listen to a
great.
couple
He's great
bands
live.
live and they were
Yeah.
good, they were good.
Live show
I
was
became a
great.
fan then. But
Well, I could say that we all think you're family to us. We are all blessed and really appreciate you being here with us. And I know I speak for us, and I would say a majority of our agents.
Hell
You do
yes.
amazing work for us. You really do.
Yeah, if you left, I think we would just have to close.
You're not leaving.
No, people say that, but like I'm always like, no, like it would suck for y'all probably for at least 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I mean, at least,
She's like, you
At
motherfuckers
least.
will just put an ad out,
Like, I mean-
patch the Band-Aid till you get another admin, send them to get training. Like, it's just like, no, you guys are
it
executioners.
would
You'll
go.
figure it
But
out.
again, if
Yeah.
you would have said like 2 years ago, I would have been like, no, y'all are like screwed. But now like, obviously I'm not trying to get replaced or go anywhere, but when people are like, oh, it wouldn't run without you, I'm like, no, it would. Like, again, it would probably suck for a little while, but it would get back to where it needs to.
No, but we truly appreciate you. We really do. We don't say it probably as often as we could, but just know that.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I know you guys are guys.
Yeah, we're normal
Typical.
guys.
Fuck
Like,
that. I tell Lori all the time.
We just give you the finger.
Well,
I mean, you even learned how to flick people off this year. It's been a year of growth.
it's totally
Just
not
my
her.
right hand.
Just
I
my
still can't
right
do
Oh,
it.
you,
Wait,
you guys don't know about that?
No.
She when she would flick somebody off,
It's still.
it
See,
was
now I'm
no, it's
thinking
better.
about it
No,
too
it's better.
much.
It's still better.
Like, that's like
Super
this
bad.
one is, yeah.
No,
Super
it was
erect middle
super-
finger, bro.
super
That shit
awkward.
is crazy.
Well, apparently you're supposed to like bend your fingers or something.
Nah, that middle finger's on Viagra, yo. That shit, like, damn.
Definitely.
That's
a
from
year of
Dance
learning
Club.
thing.
Yeah, that's a Dirk Diggler.
They're-
Fuck
yeah,
you.
they're
Well, yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, and thank you for being here always, for sure.
Awesome.